30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Please donate to the GoFundMe Mikey Sutton Memorial if you can. Thank you.
I'm not going to comment on the details of whether they are good or bad, whether they are toxic or bullying. That's in every chat room. It's what comes with the internet. But I do know that the work they did on some level was good. I can say for a fact that they did good. That is undeniable. The truth is, it doesn't matter. The movie got made. If they were smart enough to employ bots in this thing, then they won. That movie has no business existing, and it does.
Why is James Gunn such a liar? Why does DC constantly fail and disappoint? How do APass ZodWriter reconcile all the garbage in this joint? I don't get it, no matter how I try. I don't get it, the state of DC makes me want to cry. Won't WB bring back the SnyderVerse? It seems like being a DC fan is nothing but a curse. The guy in charge is wacky and the studio sure is tacky. I don't get it, no matter how I try. I don't get it, the state of DC makes me want to cry. I don't get it, no, I don't get it. Come on, WB, please help me get it. Why is James Gunn such a liar? Why does DC constantly fail and disappoint? How do APass ZodWriter reconcile all the garbage in this joint? I don't get it, no matter how I try. I don't get it, the state of DC makes me want to cry. Why is James Gunn such a liar? Why does DC constantly fail and disappoint? How do APass ZodWriter reconcile all the garbage in this joint? I don't get it, no matter how I try. I don't get it, the state of DC makes me want to cry. Why is James Gunn such a liar? Why does DC constantly fail and disappoint? How do APass ZodWriter reconcile all the garbage in this joint? I don't get it, no matter how I try. I don't get it, the state of DC makes me want to cry. I don't get it, no matter how I try. I don't get it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's episode of I Don't Get It. APass and I are both here. What's up, APass?
Hi, Zod. Hi, everybody. I hope everyone's been doing good. I mean, a lot to be excited about for sure, and to talk about. Yeah.
Right, and just so everybody knows, we are having some technical issues today. That is why we are both off camera, because I know normally you guys will see us on camera, but today, so I just wanted to address that really, really quickly. But again, we do have a lot to talk about. There's a lot to say, and we're going to get things started off right away with a $1.99 super chat from PD7, my streaming partner on Saturday mornings. We do on the Bad Guy Mike Worley's channel. We do Nostalgia Power. We had an episode this morning. You guys definitely want to check it out. It's real early in the morning. It's 9 o'clock Central, 9 a.m. Central time. It's very early. So shout out to you, PD7. He says shout out to APass and Zod, and we'll give you a drop here. We've got We've got several drops. What should we give them? APass. What do you think we should give them?
Let's see.
There's so many here. Here's one.
God, I hate APass and ZodWriter, but you gave them a super chat. So fucking sad.
All right. So thank you, PD7. Always
you,
good
PD7.
to start the show off, ticking off James Gunn. Always a good.
Oh yeah, for sure. Thank you, PD7.
We have everybody in the chat here. Our chat has really filled up. This is really kind of neat. What's up, Charles? Sin Havoc, Qatar. We got Socks Bulletins in the chat. What's up, Socks?
Everyone. Wow.
King George. What's that say here? King George says, a friendly reminder that James Gunn is not a Kevin Feige figurehead. He's a fake, phony fraud. Yes.
Couldn't agree more.
100%. 100%. Yeah, we've made it no secret about how we feel about James Gunn here with
Definitely no secrets.
And guy Mike Worley, thank you, bad guy. He points out it's been one of those days, Zod. Yeah, we were having technical difficulties this morning on Nostalgia Power as well.
Man.
So it's just, I don't know. It could be a StreamYard thing, to be honest with you, because StreamYard is hit and miss when it comes to these kinds of things. So I don't really feel sad about us being off camera today. Makes it good if you want to drink something, have people watching you drink stuff. As if that matters. Jester Tester, what's up, man? Okay.
Hello. Oh my gosh.
We've got a full house today. And so
yes. Thank you so much, guys, for being here.
It's always so humbling to see everybody here for I Don't Get It. This is must see YouTube. And I keep saying that. And I'm gonna keep saying it until everybody realizes it. And the bad guy Mike Worley is definitely speaking our language. Yes, James Gunn is a scumbag. 100%.
The definition. Oh man.
Let's see. We got what's it saying here? Trying to catch up with you, Skies and Sill streams more often. It's been a minute. Good to see you, Chad.
Thank you for being here.
Everybody's streaming, and Skywalker's been killing it with those watch parties. I mean, there's been so much, with the engagement, the engagement with Netflix.
Yes.
That's been working out very well, and we will definitely be talking about that. In just a moment. But where would you like to start, APass? I think
I guess we can start with the Scott Super quote that happened last week.
Oh yeah, we could do that. We could do that, and just to get us started, we've got somebody here who will start this off for us. So
yes.
Here we go.
I really screwed the pooch on this one, guys. I guess those sell hashtags aren't as wacky as I thought. I'll need to put away my dirty, crusty, wet sock for this one. According to an article from The Hollywood Reporter, a certain segment of the obsessive Snyder fandom are onto something, pushing their not-so-wacky idea of Netflix somehow buying the rights to the Snyder DC movies and continuing what has come to be known as the SnyderVerse. Netflix's head of film, Scott Stuber, has heard those rumors, and while he doesn't throw cold water on them, he politely acknowledges the obvious, telling THR, "That's always tricky because you don't own it." damn straight they don't own it. But WBD is broke, so David wants to sell all our DC shit. Scott Stuber said that there is a possibility that Snyder's DC movies could end up on the platform. Obviously, we would like to license it at some point. We'd love to have it on so that fans can experience more Zack. The more Zack we have, the better we are. Meanwhile, I'm promoting my stupid The Suicide Squad movie on X like it just came out on Friday and people don't care. Superman Legacy is totally boned. APass and ZodWriter are right as usual.
Well, thank you, James. We appreciate the kind words there.
For once.
And he's right. He's right. The Superman Legacy is boned for sure.
Oh, yeah.
100%. 100%. There is no way that movie is going to be a success. And like James Gunn just told us, Scott Stuber told everybody what they wanted to hear. If you're part of the Cell movement, basically.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Like totally shut down any questions that people that have been on the fence or doubting or what have you, like he totally shut it down. Like, of course they're interested. And I mean, we've all kind of already knew that because of the interest in the Snyder Cut in the past with them wanting to, you know, have it on their platform. But WB was like, you know, being themselves and not budging with that. But yeah, I mean, it's a time to be like celebrating for real, like with what's been happening at Netflix with Zack and Rebel Moon coming out, and it just like the excitement, the hype, and the engagement. Like, I know I like post like every day on X, like engage, but it's the truth, because we need to, you know, show them that we're not just, you know, talking, we're putting our money where our mouth is with this. So,
well, your posts on Twitter in particular, Twitter X, are fantastic. Like, I don't even post all that much anymore because you post so much great stuff. I just repost your stuff. I've gotten to that point where I'm just like, okay, APass is on point as always, so I'm just gonna repost what she said here.
Oh my goodness.
Charles Austin says Stuber used plain English words coming out of his mouth and everything. How's it confusing again? Why are we still having the 50-50 conversation? I see what you did there, Charles.
Yes.
And I know who you were referring to. Now.
Brilliant. And Charles Austin, you've been killing it as well on Twitter and shutting down these betas. So much appreciated for sure.
Oh, it's outrageous, the amount of things that are popping up on that god-awful X app. I mean, I
know.
literally had somebody on there trying to blame Zack Snyder for the theatrical cut of Justice League.
Oh my God.
That, Zack, I think I'm going to paraphrase here because I don't have the tweet up in front of me, but it said something along the lines of, you know, Zack is trying to convince his fan base that the theatrical cut of Justice League wasn't his and it was a failure. So he convinced his fans to get him to do a do-over or something along those lines.
God.
Like, you talk about uninformed, ill-conceived conspiracy theories. If I ever heard one, I'm like, Zack hasn't even seen the theatrical cut, and we know this for a fact. And yet, this is the kind of ignorance that we get off of that app, APass.
I know, it's bad. Like, the comprehension skills are like, it's bad, really bad. Yeah. The misinformation and everything is, yeah.
Yes, Emancipator. TJ, Superman Legacy is totally boned. It is. In James Gunn's own words, or AI James Gunn.
Yeah, AI James Gunn, which is basically James Gunn in real life.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. And we got Josh Herrera here. He says, I
Josh.
seriously don't get that dude at all. So glad that was over. Yeah. I don't.
We
I
don't
get
either.
it either. We don't get
We
it.
don't
We
get it.
don't get it either. It's absolutely ridiculous. And
Really bad.
yeah, because we don't like the Suicide Squad. It was crap. Absolutely. It was pure dog crap. And he totally was out there on X promoting the Suicide Squad being on Netflix. And nobody cared. He has no engagement whatsoever.
Like I literally love how he thought he was gonna cause, like, I don't know, any sort of pull with that whole thing. I'm like, dude, just, you know, don't even, just get off of X altogether, to be honest.
Yeah. I don't understand it. And see, people are posting a lot of things that James Gunn has from other social media platforms. There's a social media platform out there called Threads that is very similar to Twitter. I'm not on it, but apparently James Gunn is, and he posts a lot of stuff over there. And from what I'm hearing, he does it because he gets a lot more positive feedback over there than he does on X. It's like, well, you know, it's like the difference between posting something on Facebook and posting it on X. Generally, you're going to get more positive stuff off of Facebook than you are off of X. X is kind of the, you know, the dirty, seedy side of the internet. So you're kind of
social media,
social media, you know, back alley. So to speak. It kind of has that dirty, grungy feel. I mean, I always feel like I like to spend as little time on there as possible because I always feel like I need a shower after spending a few minutes on X. It's so, the people there are so dumb and so mean-spirited and just completely want to kill and take all your joy out of anything.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, that's the perfect description, though, about like X being like the social media back alley. It's so true.
It's ridiculous. And you know, we've got a $5 super chat here from Charles Briggs. Thank you so much, Charles. He says Scott Stuber said more Zach and better. FWBD Netflix heard us and they stand with us. Sell ZSJL to Netflix. Sell SnyderVerse to Netflix. You know, Charles, thank you so much, man. I think we got to give him something special. What do you think, APass?
Definitely.
And I think what we're going to give you is something we haven't played this drop before. First time. But here you go. Thank you so much.
Warner Brothers Discovery doesn't care about being faithful to the spirit of their franchises. All they do care about is money, which is ironic considering how much money they left on their clown table by dumping the SnyderVerse. Anyway, David Corenswet is Superman now, but I'm not passing him my cape. I'm keeping it in the closet till I get the call from Zach that it's time to fly again. Hashtag sell ZSJL to Netflix, sell SnyderVerse to Netflix. Oh, and please keep watching my super friends APass and ZodWriter. They continue to fight tirelessly for the cause, and as a fandom we are undoubtedly on the precipice of achieving greatness.
That gets me hyped. That gets me hyped. I don't know about anybody else, but that gets me so hyped. I mean, it's just, oh my God, the fan in Henry coming out like that. I'm so excited.
For real. Yeah. Yes. Always gets me hyped too. Thank you, Charles, for the super chat too. Thank you.
Yes, you are definitely helping us out, helping out the channel, because this channel is basically our channel. APass and I are building the I Don't Get It brand off of this channel. So every little bit helps. Anything that you know you guys contribute goes right back to the channel, because as I've said a dozen times before, this is must-see YouTube, and you can expect big things.
Yes, definitely.
And we've got Brogu in the chat. What's up, Brogu? Always a
Thank you.
pleasure to have you here, man. Always. Wow. We got
Amazing.
so many great people here in the chat.
Yes.
But getting back to the Scott Stuber element, I find it very, very disconcerting how people have still found a way to misconstrue the words and actually say things like, oh, he's only talking about Zack Snyder's already produced material. He's not talking about other movies. It's like, are you serious? Do you honestly, are you not able to read? Are you, is it that you read, but you don't comprehend anything that you don't want to be true, even if it's in black and white right in your face? They are literally in the Zack Snyder business. Stuber absolutely wants to complete the Snyderverse. You know how big that would be for Netflix, especially with Rebel Moon about to break out into becoming its own original IP that is exclusive to Netflix at this point?
Yeah. Make it make sense. Like, yeah, it definitely is there because it's not a part of their narrative or what have you. They're gonna twist it into something that's beyond like asinine. So
unbelievable. I mean, it's being twisted all over the place, and there's people that are, calling us delusional because of that. But there's one thing I'd like to defer to really quickly here that I pulled up. This is from someone who has a cordial relationship with Zack Snyder, to say the least. This is from Jacob Torres's Vero account. And for those who don't know Jacob Torres is a friend of Zack Snyder. Jacob Torres was actually in the announcement video when the Snyder cut was announced. And Jacob is a pretty cool guy. I've talked to him on Vero quite a few times. He's a decent dude, and he's definitely all in on Zack. But the reason that I'm showing what he posted on Vero here is my favorite Zack Snyder related headline of all time from InsideTheMagic.net. They're they report on all this geek stuff, and it says Netflix to revive the Zack Snyder DC universe. That in and of itself, I think, is the most honest take on the whole, sell ZSJL to Netflix, sell Snyderverse to Netflix thing that I have ever seen. There's no spin, there's no lies, there's no BS. There's just straight up telling it to you like it is. Netflix to revive the Zack Snyder DC universe.
Yeah, I mean, they basically took what Scott Stuber said and put it in their title. I mean, or like the headline of the article. Just used it, phrased it differently. But that's basically what he was saying with his quote.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And not only that, it's like they're not the ones playing mental gymnastics. They're not sitting here. They're not sitting here saying, well, he's not talking about Zack Snyder making more movies. He's just talking about the Zack Snyder movies that already exist that Netflix doesn't have. You do realize there's very few Zack Snyder movies that Netflix doesn't have at this point, right?
Yeah.
Netflix could acquire the rest. I mean, we're talking, okay, once they get Zack Snyder's Justice League and the ultimate cut of BVS, which they will eventually get because the ultimate cut of BVS is exclusive to Amazon right now. But once that contract is up, Netflix will likely acquire that. And then, of course, we have, Sucker Punch. Maybe they'll get Zack Snyder's Sucker Punch. Maybe they'll get the director's cut of that nobody's seen. The Snyder Punch, yeah. I mean,
Oh,
the
yes.
possibilities are endless for Netflix. Netflix was talking about restoring the Snyderverse, for lack of a better way to say it. It's
Yeah.
going to happen. And if it does, it's going to be on Netflix.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, if they end up like, getting, which I believe wholeheartedly they will, whenever they get the Ultimate Edition of BVS and Zack Snyder's Justice League, it is like at that point, like we can expect more positive news coming forward from just that alone. And I want to see his cut of Sucker Punch so bad. Like,
Oh, yes.
I hope they get that too.
It was great. I remember going to see Sucker Punch in the movie theater, and I loved it. I loved it, and I couldn't wait. I wanted more of it. I was hoping that maybe Zach would do something else related to it. I mean, it is kind of its own self-contained story, but I kind of feel like if he wanted to, he could revisit it in some way. And the best way for him to revisit it would be to release the Snyder Punch, which
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Kenneth Gardner says, after casting his brother to play Maxwell Lord in Superman Legacy, that shows I've always known James Gunn is not right to run DC in film, and his DC will fail big time. Well, Sean Gunn, isn't that his name? Sean Gunn?
Sean Gunn.
Sean Gunn is a D-list actor at best, possibly E-list actor.
I feel like he's not even on the alphabet.
Yeah, is he even on the alphabet? I mean, remember, guys, this is the lunatic that was outside during the writer's strike and actor strike, picketing outside of Netflix because he felt shorted on his royalties to Gilmore Girls, something his brother's company, parent company, Warner Brothers Discovery, owns. So the royalty issue wouldn't even be a Netflix thing; it would be a Warner Brothers thing. But
exactly.
But yeah, there's that. And we've got the beautiful and wonderful Nessa in the chat. What's up, Nessa? It's always a pleasure to see you. Thank you so much for being here tonight for another episode of I Don't Get It.
Yes. Thank you, Nessa.
And Bat Dan points out here that haters are still moving the goalposts.
Yep. And they will continue to do so until the arc is finished, in my opinion. They're just that they have chosen the hill that they want to die on. So the goalpost is going to continue to move.
It really makes you wonder when you see an article like this and a headline like this that is fully focused on the truth. Netflix to revive the Zack Snyder DC universe. When you see stuff like this, and then you see the way the original article writer himself, Boris Kitt, does all these gymnastics to try to be able to throw shade and get his digs in on Zack and the fandom. I just find it fascinating. I mean, he literally was speaking for Zack in his interview article that he did, where he made it look like he had half the internet convinced that Zack Snyder had moved on and that he didn't want to do any more DC stuff.
Which is, it's that part of it just still baffles me. It's like literally that guy, all he said was conjecture. There was no, I didn't see any quotation marks within just that one little section where he just gave his 2 cents in, just to put another deterrent in our way and to just make us all give up, because obviously he's in the pocket of some corporation. So yeah, I mean, for people to fall for that the way that they did, yeah,
It
it's
just
baffling.
goes to show you where we are in terms of how close sell ZSJL to Netflix, sell SnyderVerse to Netflix. It just goes to show you how close this campaign is to the finish.
Yeah.
Because usually when it ramps up like this, where you've got haters, detractors, and bots coming out saying the most despicable, nonsensical things,
Yeah.
this is what we have to deal with. And I tell people all the time, I've been around since the Release the Snyder Cut days. I was there from the beginning. And when Release the Snyder Cut was ramping up, along the finish line, this is what we got. We got all types of stuff just like this. Hit pieces, candy coated and disguised as, fluff pieces, but essentially hit pieces. We had articles from big name reporters and outlets that we thought were going to judge the movement favorably, saying that we were chasing vapor and we were going after something that was never going to happen. I mean, how could anybody forget that the Snyder Cut doesn't exist? I mean, it's so funny to me. I mean, I turn around and there it is on my shelf, but it doesn't exist. And Zach said it himself. This movie has no business existing. And you know what that is? That's an echo of what the haters were saying. The haters were saying it didn't exist. And now they're doing the same thing here. But in that article, when Scott Stuber says it's tricky because we don't own it.
Yeah.
When you say that, that's your clue. That's your clue. It's tricky. He's not saying it's impossible, and he's not even saying he doesn't want to do it, because then he goes on to actually state that they want all the Zach that they can get.
Yeah.
Literally, it's in the article. So, and how can you misinterpret that as, oh, they just want the movies that Zach already made. They're not talking about making any other movies. When they just signed Zach onto a big contract, have Zach, the rumor is that Zach is signed on for Netflix for 7 to 10 more years.
Yeah.
And that Zach is 100%, going to be with Netflix for the long haul. So why wouldn't Netflix want Zach's DC material as well, and new DC material to top it off?
I mean, yeah, it's literally like a no-brainer at this point. I mean, like, the more Zach we have, the better we are, is literally what he said. So it's a matter of time.
If you'd like to, you can go ahead and read what Nessa wrote. She's addressing you directly.
Okay. APass, your posts always have the real DC fans coming out from under the rocks. LOL. I mean, I constantly get bombarded with these so-called real DC fans. And I do my best to ignore it, because they literally have been, I mean, we all know what they say. They all say the same talking points. So, yeah.
We have literally been on X combating haters, trolls, and instigators ever since this article dropped. It's been a non-stop roller coaster of hatred, remarks, insults, people who have no knowledge on the subject whatsoever butting in, like that guy that was trying to convince everybody that Zack Snyder directed the theatrical cut. Oh my God. We are on. This is how I know we're very, very close to the Snyder cut. Well, the SnyderVerse coming to fruition on Netflix. Sell ZSJL and sell SnyderVerse. Those hashtags are working. They're working.
Yes, they are.
When you have the head of Netflix literally coming out saying the things that Scott Stuber has said, how can you misinterpret that? Just the fact that he's coming out speaking on this at all. I think Skywalker pointed that out. How is it even, that he's pointing, that he's even addressing it if there wasn't anything behind it?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if there was no interest whatsoever, he would have not even bothered answering a question about it, or even bringing it up. So yeah, the mental gymnastics are it's funny to watch, to be honest.
Zach's responsible for Justice League. Now that's a new one. It is.
Yeah.
It's incredible. The man, it's essentially, you know what? Let's be honest. Essentially, what Warner Brothers did was they fired Zack Snyder. They pushed him out.
Yes, they did.
Because they took advantage of him at a time when he was grieving for the loss of his loved one, his daughter, and basically they took advantage of a grieving man who wasn't going to fight back. I think Zach and Debbie would have put up a fight if had those unfortunate circumstances not taken place. But when you're dealing with a tragedy, you're dealing with something that's far bigger than a goofy movie. You're not going to really have the motivation to fight for it on that level. Your family is going to come first. The people you love, the people you care about should always come first. So in my view, and that just makes Warner Brothers look even more ridiculous. And the fact that you have people actually out there trying to spread misinformation that Zach is responsible for the theatrical cut. I don't know what to say. It's a movie he's never seen. They basically took some footage he shot, butchered the hell out of it, and then let Joss Whedon come in and do all kinds of reshoots. And that's why you got a deformed Henry Cavill. That's why you have stupid lines like Lois Lane is thirsty and all this crazy stuff that doesn't make any sense, that has no place in a Zack Snyder movie. Batman cracking jokes. I mean, it boggles the mind, honestly. And it's offensive on a level if you're actually invested in this stuff and you actually care about the Snyderverse. Reading stuff like that, it's designed to be, let's be honest, it's designed to trigger us.
Oh, definitely.
That guy can't be that ignorant after all this time. Taking the time to actually write out a paragraph on X about it and then continue to double down and fight that when he's challenged about it.
Yeah, that's definitely been the goal, I think, all along. Because for whatever reason, it's funny for people to just trigger somebody because they're passionate about something and deliberately say things that are egregious or
deliberately. I mean, listen, I look at, like, again, and I gotta continue to give shout outs to Skywalker and Leon for these hashtags. Because honestly, the Cell campaign is ramped up. It's on fire, literally, and it's on point. And when you have people like this that are still, blaming Snyder for the failure that is current DCEU, that's completely wrong. You realize Snyder hasn't been a part of this, hasn't been a part of any of this for what are we looking at, like 8 years now? He has, he's been away for quite some time.
And to keep blaming the guy when he's been gone for almost a decade.
It's got nothing to do with this. None of the movies outside of Zack Snyder's Justice League trilogy. And believe me, today we will get into Zack Snyder's Justice League trilogy because there's some things I want to set straight about Zack Snyder's Justice League trilogy, because I'm getting sick and tired of these people coming at us about well, those movies are not separate. Those movies are part of the DCEU. No, they're not. They're their own separate thing, but we'll get into that in a minute. And I know that because that's something that nobody touches on currently. That I've seen. Maybe, if you guys know in the chat, you can correct me if I'm wrong, But what we're about to talk about, I don't think anybody has discussed at all. This is going to be an exclusive for I Don't Get It. I don't think anybody has touched on this. And this is something that I want to make clear and I want to establish, because this is really where we're at right now. Shout out to Skywalker the Jedi. If you are still in the chat, my friend, I know it takes us a while to get through all these messages. This is the thing, man. We are part of the greatest community in the world as far as our live streams and things go. We have so many great people that come in here and share their thoughts, and it's a beautiful thing to see. But hashtag sell ZSJL to Netflix, sell SnyderVerse to Netflix. I couldn't be happier with the way the campaign has progressed.
I mean, think about it. It hasn't even been a year yet.
No.
And we've already gotten so far. We're almost at the finish line already, and it hasn't even been a year. That is incredible. Absolutely amazing.
And Nessa points out here, you guys noticed that he hasn't been promoting A2 or any of the DC films that's on Netflix, just the Suicide Squad.
Of course, because it's obvious where his priorities are. They're on his warped perception on what DC is, and it really isn't that. So
it's such a horrible way of looking at everything. We are just going nuts right now with all this craziness here. And we've got a $1.99 super chat from Bat Dance Thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, Bat Dance. Awesome.
Zod, are you going to finish PNS with everything going on? Pause Not Stopped. Well, I'll tell you what's going to happen with Pause Not Stopped. I'm reworking it. I'm retooling it. I'm trying to get it to a point where I can actually go back in and do some things. I think Pause Not Stopped is going to end up being an entity of a different type than what I originally envisioned. Because I want to be honest with everybody. I mean, when Mikey Sutton passed away, God rest his soul, I was really struggling with what I was going to do, because Mikey was helping me out a lot with the book, behind the scenes kind of stuff. Because I really didn't have industry sources and stuff. So Mikey was helping me with my basically, let's just say, with my Hollywood connections. And Mikey was also publishing Pause Not Stopped. Okay, so I had a lot of stuff going on with regards to that book with Mikey Sutton himself. And when he passed away, a lot of that kind of just ended up in limbo, because as of right now, to this day, I still don't know what my plan is going to be moving forward as far as publishing it. My original plan was to self-publish the book, and this was before I had made my deal with Mikey for Mikey to publish it. And I think he was going to publish it through Second Skin Publishing, or we were talking about it. I wasn't sure. I'm not sure if it was going to be Second Skin or it was going to be the publishing company that was publishing books that Mikey himself had plans on or was writing, because Mikey was a man of many, many talents and was involved in a lot of projects. So I'm not entirely, so to this day, I'm still not entirely sure what's going to happen with Pause Not Stopped. But at the very least, what I want to do with it is kind of retool it and basically take what I have and try to shape it in a way that it'll still be something that will be releasable at some point. But we are a long way off from that. I regret to inform you. I really don't. I really haven't spoken publicly about it since Mikey's passing, so I don't really know where I'm gonna go with it. But because it's very hard. It's very hard, and I'm very emotional about it. And it's one of those things that I'm hoping I'll be able to figure out. But knowing that I've got so many supportive family and friends around me, and people that care and are invested and want it to happen, anything is possible. And I believe that at some point it'll eventually get finished, because I would hate to die and have that unfinished, because I don't like unfinished things, as I know a lot of people do not. But I know I'm not alone. So
you will finish it at some point.
Oh yeah, I have you to motivate me, APass. I'll finish it at some point. I mean, it's not going to be easy. I can say that with absolute certainty. But nothing of value ever is. You want to, if it's something valuable, you're not going to finish it without a struggle. But
yeah,
I think I'm going to give you something. I'm going to give you something special, Bat Dan, since you asked about Pause Not Stopped. How about a little Christopher Nolan?
All right, enough is enough, Warner Brothers Discovery. Leave APass and ZodWriter alone. Greta, don't be so salty about Oppenheimer. He is a real-life historical figure, and your movie is about a plastic doll that women stopped caring about decades ago. James Humansey, Gun. I don't have to say much else, really, do I? I don't get it. Hashtag sell ZSJL to Netflix. Hashtag sell SnyderVerse to Netflix. And let's get Warner Brothers sold to Universal as quickly as possible. This WBD incompetence is a blight on cinema. We all deserve better.
I couldn't agree more with Christopher Nolan. Thank you again.
Yeah. Thank you, Bat Dan. Yes, Christopher Nolan's always on it.
Let's see here. We've got the Spider-Man 7285 says the 5-movie arc is what we want. The other stuff is nice, but I look at it as Earth 2 compared to the Snyderverse. That's kind of cool. That's kind of good for our transition into what I want to talk about next. I don't know about you, APass, but I think we should kind of transition into discussing the well, hold on. I think we can do that. I gotta share my screen again for the transition.
Alrighty.
Okay. So you can see that. You can see what that is, right?
Yes, indeed.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Zack Snyder's Justice League trilogy for the uninitiated, for those that don't know. This movie, well, not movie, but series of movies was released twice by 2 different Warner Brothers regimes. The last regime, which was Warner Media before Zaslav took over, and they ended up with Warner Brothers Discovery. And we also have the Warner Brothers Discovery version, which is a slightly different art design, but it is the most current release of this trilogy. So what I wanted to talk about briefly here, and APass and I are going to delve into this a little bit because, we get it. Other people do not. These movies, which consist of Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Ultimate Edition, and Zack Snyder's Justice League, comprise Zack Snyder's Justice League universe. Zack Snyder's Justice League universe is only those 3 movies and does not include anything else from the DC EU. not Wonder Woman, not Shazam, not Wonder Woman 84, not the Suicide Squad, not the Fury of the Gods, the Birds of Prey, Blue Beetle, Aquaman, Aquaman 2. None of that matters. These three movies and these three movies alone are marketed in a separate package as a separate entity from any and all other DC related material.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you know why that is. APass, why is that? Why is it that these three movies are marketed separate of all the other DC releases? Why?
Why? Well, I mean, they're their own contained, like, I don't know if I have the right words for this. but it's like its own self-contained like story, directly connecting to each other, and there's no like indiscrepancies, whereas with the other movies that you mentioned that aren't a part of this package may have those things. And also I feel like this has to do with like something Zach did, because he's genius level in terms of the legal stuff. I could be wrong though.
No, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. And ironically, since Bat Dan had mentioned in our super chat, he mentioned Pause Not Stopped. Ironically, when I was actively writing Pause Not Stopped, one of the things that I researched exhaustively was the legalities behind Zack Snyder's Justice League trilogy. One of the things I found out was there's a major, major, major reason why Zack has his name attached.
Ooh.
Why didn't they just call the movie Justice League the Snyder Cut, or Justice League Coming of Apocalypse, or Justice League subtitle anything? Why did they specifically call it Zack Snyder's Justice League? They did that so that it could be marketed separately from all other DC-related material. Warner Brothers considers Zack Snyder's trilogy to be its own separate Elseworlds pocket universe. It exists. It's like the animated films. They exist in their own continuity. It's its own thing. They don't consider the Zack Snyder's Justice League trilogy to be canon. They've said this themselves. What are they really saying when they don't consider it to be canon? They're basically telling you in so many words that it is legally its own thing. And an example I'd like to bring up is, I tried to do this on X, but people just weren't understanding on that god-awful social media platform. But the example I like to give is Star Trek 2009, the J.J. Abrams Star Trek reboot. The J.J. Abrams Star Trek reboot, the license for the J.J. Abrams Star Trek films can be licensed separate from the original Star Trek. So like the original Star Trek from 1966 that Gene Roddenberry created, right? If you wanted to acquire the rights to make something, to write a book or to do a film or something in the original Star Trek universe, the original Star Trek timeline, it would cost you a hell of a lot more than it would cost you to say if you wanted to do something in J.J. Abrams' Star Trek Kelvin timeline, which is Star Trek 2009. It's considered a different property. It's still Star Trek, but it's a different property. It's a variant of Star Trek. Just like Zack Snyder's Justice League trilogy is a variant of DC. And people will come and say, yeah, but Zod, Zack Snyder, I got news for you, Zod. Man of Steel and Batman v Superman are part of the DCEU. So you're completely wrong. Nope, I'm right. And I'm going to tell you why. Because although Man of Steel was considered the launching pad of the DCEU, it is the only movie from Zack Snyder's Justice League trilogy that has ever been included in any DCEU compilation releases or collections. And the only reason they do that is because Man of Steel was the launching point of the whole DCEU. They have to have that movie in there. Believe me, if Warner Brothers could, they would scrap all Henry Cavill from any DC stuff because they obviously don't want to work with Cavill. But here's the thing. BVS, the version of BVS that is included in the DCEU collections, is the theatrical cut of BVS, not the ultimate edition. So basically, the cut of BVS that you're getting in any DCEU home media or digital collection, and even what's on Netflix right now, is the studio version of Batman v Superman, the studio approved theatrical cut. And that is separate from Zack Snyder's Justice League trilogy. And as you know, Zack Snyder's Justice League is not ever marketed in any of their collections either. It's always the theatrical cut, the Joss Whedon version. That is a part of what DC considers to be the DCEU. Therefore, Zack Snyder's Justice League can be marketed as its own separate entity, and Scott Stuber can reach in and acquire the rights for Netflix to finish Zack's Elseworld story that Warner Brothers Discovery has essentially abandoned. It'd be no different than what Netflix does when they pick up the rights to other properties. When Netflix bought the Knives Out, bought the rights for the Knives Out sequels.
Yeah.
Those Knives Out sequels were not made. Netflix paid to acquire the rights so that those movies could be made. They took it over from Lionsgate, and they would essentially be doing the same thing here. They would be purchasing the rights to be able to not only have Zack Snyder's Justice League trilogy, but to complete the 2 more movies. Just like, the Spider-Man is saying right here about the other stuff is nice, but it's mainly for the 5-movie arc. This is so that we get Man of Steel, Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition, Zack Snyder's Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League 2, and Zack Snyder's Justice League 3. 5 movies. Anything else would be icing on the cake and might not even necessarily be considered part of Zack Snyder's Justice League trilogy or universe at this point.
So what you're saying is it wouldn't cost Netflix it wouldn't cost Netflix like billions of dollars to, get this license.
No, it would not.
No, it wouldn't.
They're purchasing.
Isn't that interesting?
They're purchasing a license to complete the story, to finish the arc. They're not purchasing a license to produce. And this is another misconception on that X platform, where you have a guy that keeps bringing up Batman 1966. He keeps saying, well, Warner Brothers hasn't licensed out the use of Batman for independent projects since 1966. Listen here, you uninformed moron. It doesn't work that way. Netflix is not trying to purchase the rights to make its own series of Batman movies. It is going to acquire the license to Zack Snyder's Justice League trilogy and get the rights to conclude the story within the confines of the movies that Zack has already made. It's not like they're starting from scratch and they need the rights to the character because they're going to have a new Batman, a new Superman, a new Wonder Woman. No, that's what James Gunn is doing. James Gunn is starting from scratch with his own iterations of the characters, doing his own thing. But here, Netflix would just basically be concluding what Zach has already established. They're not doing anything that it wouldn't even really be considered new in the sense that it's a new property. No, it would be a couple of new movies attached to an already existing property, but it's not going to be where they have to acquire an individual license for Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. No. They don't own it. It's like he said, it's tricky because they don't own it, but they can acquire the license to finish what Zach started. And that's what I believe they're going to do, to be honest with you. That's what I think that's what Stuber was referring to. Because again, this is what I researched when I was writing Pause Not Stop, because I wanted to find out what the significance was of Zach putting his name on Justice League rather than just having it be called Justice League, colon whatever else. And that's what people don't understand. And as for the people who out there who think that Zach actually, Zach did the theatrical cut, it's his fault, to blame him for that. That's stupidity. And they'll bring up, well, then why is his name still there as director and not Joss Whedon? Because Zach is a smart businessman. According to Directors Guild rules, if Zach would have pulled his name, and he could have pulled his name from Justice League 2017 or Justice League, the theatrical cut, however you refer to it.
Yeah.
If Zach would have pulled his name from that movie, what would have happened is, by Directors Guild rules, the Snyder Cut, no matter how far along it is, no matter what it was, would not have been allowed to have been released. It would have been like, it would have been just sitting there in the ether. It would never have been able to be released because Zach is not director of that movie. Zach had to maintain director rights to the Snyder Cut, to the theatrical cut, in order for the Snyder Cut to be a reality. And Zach knew this. That's why he didn't pull his name from it. That's why it's
genius.
That's why 2017 still says directed by Zack Snyder. This is why you don't have a. This is why you don't have a. We talk a lot about David Lynch. You and I, we're big Lynch fans. This is why you don't have a directed by David Lynch cut of Dune, because David Lynch took his name off the movie, and the studio put Alan Smithy as the name that they use when they don't have an actual director attached. When a director says, take my name off of this project, that's the name that Hollywood uses, Alan Smithy. So really, if Zach would have pulled his name from the movie, we wouldn't be here right now having this conversation, because if Justice League was directed by Joss Whedon could have put out a director's cut of Justice League, not Zack Snyder.
Wow. I don't even want to think about that reality of a Joss Whedon cut.
Yeah, that's true, Showcaz. But that was back. I'm saying this for context. I know, like, nowadays they can't use Alan Smithy, but that's what they used back then. That was the pseudonym, I think, that they used for the director. But yeah, I understand it's not happening now, but that's what it was back in Lynch's time when he did Dune and he wanted his name removed from the movie because the studio was going in doing whatever they want, meddling with his movie the same way studios often do. Imagine what Dune would have been like if they would have left David Lynch alone. That's all I got to say.
I know.
I'm really, this kind of stuff gets me really hyped up, because it really is, once again, a tale of the way corporations keep sticking their untalented corporate dirty fingers into everything, and this is why we can't. This is why we can never have nice things.
It's so true. That is so true. Yeah, like it is a tale as old as time, unfortunately. It's like you have these untalented quote unquote businessmen that will just tamper with the product that a creative genius wants to put out there. Because they think they know best or whatever, and clearly time and time again it is like history has proven that they don't know anything just because they're quote unquote businessmen. But yeah, that is,
yeah, they don't know anything, and this is why I sit here and I say to myself, Zach was a genius, because Zach understands all of it. He knew, I can't take my name off of this. If I want the Snyder Cut to ever get released, there's no way I can take my name off of this movie, regardless. And he still hasn't seen it. So that shows you right there how he knew that this is what I got to do. I got to suffer now. I got to have the theatrical cut out there with my name on it, so that idiots like that guy on Twitter X can blame me for the theatrical release, even though I wasn't involved and I was long gone when they brought in that howdy doody looking dude that took over for
the overrated glorified TV director.
Yeah, the Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He's got like sexual harassments leveled against him from literally almost everybody in the cast. But he's okay. Joss Whedon, we gotta love him, right?
Yeah,
Another scumbag.
For real. Yes.
I mean, come on, man. This is why I just, like Integrity says here, this feels like winning. That's exactly what it is. This first box set that was released from Warner Media, this first version of the trilogy, is of course the superior box set of the two. I will admit. I think that the first, I like it. It comes with all this cool swag, and it's really nice and looks really nice on the shelf. Whereas the other one is a more standard box set release. That's just a rehash, basically, to make money off of all the non-existent Snyder fans, right? We're not real. We're just bots.
Yeah, we're just bots. We're just bots. But they keep repackaging his trilogy of films.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. Why do that though, APass? Why keep repackaging Zach's stuff if it doesn't sell? If it's not popular, if nobody wants it, if everybody is hyped for Superman Legacy and whatever the hell James Gunn is about to do, then why is there still so much demand for Zach's material where they feel like they got to re-release it every couple of years?
Yeah. Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
It sure does. It sure does. And I'm just thankful every day that I'm here with you to wonder about it, because
me too.
This is crazy. It doesn't make any sense. They put out this beautiful box set for these 3 films, and they put out another nice looking box set, not as nice as the first box set. Which one do you prefer, APass, the first box or the second box?
Definitely the first one.
Oh,
definitely.
Yeah, 100%. The first one is real Zach-like, gritty, beautiful art. And then the second one is just standard Photoshop thrown together kind of thing.
Like commercial, like mainstream commercialized.
Yeah, we'll pull it up again here. This is it. Yeah. And I believe when they released this in the first time in the UK, this was the artwork that they used when they first released this box set. The first box, they didn't get I don't think they got the one that we did, but maybe they did for a limited time. But yeah, but this is one. This is the one that's currently being offered now. This is the one that's severely discounted. I think it's about $32 to $35. or maybe $38 on Amazon right now. If you're looking for this, if you still don't have it, I mean, obviously everybody watching this probably owns these movies in multiple forms, but it's
Yeah.
out there if you want it. Bat Dan's thought says, wouldn't it be funny if Universal decided to continue the Snyderverse after Netflix gives us Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3 instead of Gunny Poo's universe?
That would be hilarious. I mean, it would be amazing, but also hilarious because, Gunn failing is funny to me.
Gunn's going to continue to fail. It doesn't matter what he does. He failed, but see, he fails upward, which is the most bizarre thing in the world when you consider, the leader of the crusty wet sock brigade and the condiment kings. He is totally, he's totally there. And I just want him to be done. I want him to go back to Marvel and shut up. That's what I want to happen. I'm tired of, I don't even understand why he's even involved with DC at all.
I have a feeling as to why. But I mean, you know why too, but
I know, but when I say that, I just out in disbelief still that it's even a thing. That we're even talking about it at this point. All this time later, we're talking about this, and it's just outrageous. But I hope now everybody knows and understands that Zack Snyder's Justice League trilogy is a separate entity, and that it can be licensed on its own as its own thing. They don't have to worry that Netflix is not going to have to spend billions of dollars to acquire the rights to Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and all the other characters, because they're not making their own original material. They're making something that is continuing an IP that WBD has discontinued. That's the difference.
Yeah.
And I wish people could understand that and stop coming into X threads acting like they know everything. That's not how licensing works. They've got to get individual licensings for all the characters. No, they don't.
If I had a nickel for every wise guy that has come into my threads saying you clearly don't understand how licensing works, it's like, all right, like you're literally probably in your parents' basement right now, like typing that on just to insult me or whatever. But like, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter what they say, to be honest.
Charles Austin says here, Hollywood seems to protect creatives that do bad things. The sexual harassment, racism, and then the P word, of course, and they hate Zach because he is and makes movies that defend the innocent. That's a great point. That's a great point. You're always on point too, Charles Austin. I got to be honest with you, man. You're always on point too. When we were in a chat group together, and Charles Austin made a Star Trek 3 reference the other day, and it hit me in the back of my mind, like, yep, spot on. Like, once again, Charles Austin gets it.
Yes, he does. He definitely gets it.
Yeah, copyrights and contracts. Yeah, it's there's a reason, and this is the other thing too. I guess this is like I don't know if this is necessarily the other side of the coin or it's just part of that same topic I was talking about, but the copyright issue and the contract issue of, say, for example, why the Snyderverse can be marketed separately from the rest of DC. All these negative people that say that Zack Snyder stole their childhood, and they all say things like, that's not my Superman, that's not my Batman, that's not my Wonder Woman. These characters are nothing like the versions of the characters that I remember. Okay, that's fine. If you want to say that, that's cool. If you don't think that they're designed to be different. When a filmmaker
Thank you.
comes in, a filmmaker is told, you have to make these characters, there has to be distinguishing properties from these characters to their official comic book counterparts. In other words, Zach can't come in and adapt Action Comics #1 for the movie. They're not going to let him do the exact comic book version of the character. It has to be different so that it can be, there's a certain percentage of difference that all these movies have to be. I believe in the case of Star Trek, it is 15%. It has to be at least 50. It has to veer at least 15% from the source material in order for it to be made so that it can be marketed as its own thing.
There you go.
Zack Snyder did these movies, he is given a certain amount of free reign to do his own iterations of these characters because they have to be estimated at 15% at least different, varying from the original iteration of the character for copyright reasons, for contractual reasons. Why do you think Peacemaker is so different from Peacemaker? Aside from, James Gunn being an absolute lunatic when it comes to these characters, none of James Gunn's versions of the characters for DC are anything like their comic book counterparts, other than their name and maybe the look is similar, but the characters are very, very different from what they are.
Yet he knows comic books, right?
Yeah.
He knows
comic books and he knows characters. Yeah. Yeah. Jerk Whedon ruined both DC and Marvel. That's got to be on record. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Let's see. Maybe that's the reason WBD is playing hardball with Netflix, but Universals tend to let others do the work, and they benefit from the theme park license. Yeah, it could be.
That is an angle.
I would love to have those films on VHS also. Here, guys.
Oh, yes. I would love that too. Actually, I would definitely like that.
And Laserdisc. Yeah, definitely. It'd be kind of neat. It'd be kind of neat to see those movies released that way.
Definitely.
But I just think that, all you got to do is educate yourself on these kinds of things. If it's important to you, do some research. And you will find out the things you need to find out.
Yeah.
Because you never know. You never know what the situation is. You never know what's going on. And you're going to be ignorant on a topic if you don't research it. If it's important to you, you will research it and you will find out. And for me, for the book I was writing, I wanted to know this stuff because I wanted to be able to word it a certain way so that people could understand. And I guess I'm failing at that when I try to explain it to people on Twitter X, but hopefully I did a better job here, verbally trying to talk about it. I don't know.
I understood you perfectly clear about even on Twitter when I was reading some of the you explaining it to this person or bot or whatever.
Person or
no. Isn't it like weird that we have to like think like that though now? we can't just assume that it's not a person anymore. It's
do you want to answer this one, APass?
Let me see. Question. Do you think if #sell happens, can Netflix give Ray Fisher his Cyborg movie on Netflix? Oh my, I would love. I mean, I wouldn't see why not at that point, and I honestly think when when Zack is able to complete his arc and they see the numbers and how successful it is, I think that they will branch out into maybe, like the Batfleck movie or Man of Steel 2 or Cyborg solo movie or Wonder Woman 3 or even an actual Flashpoint movie if that's even possible. But like I think the sky's the limit, honestly, at this point.
Yeah, I don't see why not. The only thing that I'm arguing is that anything additional that we get, aside from the movies that Zack himself had planned, would be considered extra or icing on the cake as far as I'm concerned. Because
Yeah.
I would feel like it all, as long as it's all within the framework of the Snyderverse. That's
Right.
And here's another thing, and I completely forgot to mention this. Why do you think Warner Brothers didn't allow Zack Snyder to use Green Lantern in the Snyder Cut? For those that think that the Snyder Trilogy is part of DC EU continuity, why didn't they just let him use Green Lantern?
That's the didn't he say that it was because they were claiming that they were going to use John Stewart Green Lantern for something else?
Well, that and also, right, they had actual DC EU plans for Green Lantern. There were things that they were going to do with Green Lantern. They consider Zack's timeline to be a separate continuity altogether. It's its own separate thing. So the point I was making is that Zack has to abide by their rules and can only use characters that they give him permission to use for the Snyderverse. He wasn't given permission to use Green Lantern, which is another example of the Snyderverse being its own separate entity. Maybe some of the things that he wanted to do with Green Lantern, they have plans to do with Green Lantern. And that's why they didn't want him to use it.
Right.
If it was considered a part of the DCEU, if it was considered canon, they might have let him use it because, oh yeah, we want to introduce Green Lantern. That's fine, but they're not. No, they're not. They have something else that they want to do with Green Lantern. So Zack Snyder's Justice League trilogy is considered Elseworld. It's considered separate. It can be marketed as something separate. It can be licensed as something separate because it is something separate.
Yep.
I mean, it's a little bit sad because then that means that, well, but Zod, what about Wonder Woman 2017? Isn't that part of the Snyderverse? Isn't that part of the Zack Snyder's Justice League trilogy? No, it's not. It's not. It's part of the DCEU. It's its own thing. It's part of the DCEU. It's a separate thing. You got to remember, Wonder Woman 2017 was made when Zack was still a part of the DCEU.
Yeah.
Zack isn't part of the DCEU right now. It hasn't been for quite some time, even though he gets blamed for all the flops. Was that Skywalker? Flop after flop after flop.
Flop after flop. Christopher Lee. I love that drop so much. Man.
Is Wonder Woman part of the Zack Snyder Justice League continuity? No, it's not. None of them are. None of the movies outside of those 3 films, as of right now, are part of Zack Snyder's continuity.
That's that's very interesting to think about. Because I mean, personally, for me, I always thought Wonder Woman like I included Wonder Woman 2017 with.
I used to like to too, but that was until the Zack Snyder's Justice League trilogy was released.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you include Wonder Woman in that if it's part? Because they don't consider those films to be part of DCU continuity. And if you don't consider the Ultimate Edition of BVS, Zack Snyder's Justice League, and Man of Steel to be part of the DCEU, we can't have it both ways either. Now, in our own personal canon, we can say that Wonder Woman happened, and Wonder Woman was, and that's why I say the only movie that really has the distinction of appearing in both is Man of Steel.
Yeah.
And it is kind of frustrating to think about Zack's continuity as only being those 3 movies, but I'm okay with it because that means that legally that Netflix can acquire that and can finish those movies. And once those movies are released, it doesn't matter what our personal headcanon is. We can throw in Wonder Woman if we want. We can throw in whatever movies we want to be a part of it. But I feel like marketing those movies separately is a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, because it opened the door for an opportunity like this.
Right, exactly. Sell is able to happen because of legally these being able to be licensed separately. And then not to mention the fact that Netflix already has the majority of the DCEU on their platform right now. So that's the other thing.
Right. Exactly.
If we get a Wonder Woman director's cut, will that be part of the SnyderVerse?
That depends on what's in the in the Jenkins cut, I guess.
Yeah,
like would
I don't see Jenkins doing a director's cut.
I don't think. But then again, I'm blanking on some things. Was the original ending like what they had planned for Wonder Woman 2017? Did they film anything of like any of that, or was that just like scrapped before?
That's the thing I don't know for sure. I don't know if it was filmed or not. I don't know. I know you hear Patty talk about it sometimes, but we don't know what was filmed and what wasn't.
Yeah.
But then we also know that she, her problem was that she kind of fell off the path too, and sort of I don't know. I don't know what
her
to say
Chris
about
Pine
that.
cut.
Yeah, her I love Chris Pine sequel. Like the whole see, this is the thing. The whole purpose of Wonder Woman 84 was because Patty wanted to work with Chris Pine again. That was the whole reason.
Literally that. And it made his sacrifice at the end of Wonder Woman 2017 mean nothing at all. Like absolutely
she was hot for Chris Pine and she wanted to work with him again. Was fantasizing about him like crazy. That's why you had that like invasion. That's why you had that invasion of the body snatchers, like, you know,
weird
creepy Diana subplot thing going on that made no sense other than in Patty Jenkins' romance novel sort of mind. And that's kind of what it was. That's kind of that was like her fantasy about Chris Pine, and she was putting that in the movie. That's the way I interpreted it, because she really loves her some Chris Pine, for real.
Oh, for real, yes. But and I love how nobody else outside of, you know, obviously because Patty wouldn't catch that, but no one else like thought to say, you know, that's a little creepy having Diana basically sleep with a guy.
Well, somebody said it was the equivalent of her basically forcing somebody against their will, which I didn't really think about it, but you know, if you want to dig deep, it kind of kind of does go in that direction. You can kind of interpret it that way.
Definitely, because that guy, his consciousness or his soul, like I don't know what happened to like while Chris behind Steve Trevor was like inhabiting him, but like I mean, yeah, it make sense.
That wasn't even that wasn't even Steve Trevor's body.
That's the weird thing about
it. He was essentially just using somebody else's body as like a vessel for her sexual fantasy. It was just bizarre.
Bizarre.
Like I don't know what made it. And honestly, am I one of the only people that thought that Pedro Pascal's Maxwell Lord was the most cringiest, most over the top, overacting, horrible performance of that guy's career? Like I thought he was horribly miscast as Maxwell Lord. I didn't see him as Maxwell Lord at all.
No, I gotta agree with you. Once again, I gotta agree because same with Kristen Wiig. Like those two, yeah, total miscast in my opinion.
Yeah, like she wasn't like Cheetah. Like there's so many people in Wonder Woman's Rogues Gallery that would have been good for Kristen Wiig. Like Kristen Wiig could have. Oh my God. Kristen Wiig could have played Athena, could have played somebody else from the Amazons that was an adversary to Diana, but not Cheetah.
Yeah, like what?
She didn't fit that character at all. I was
not so
disappointed. And I think, and that's why that's where I kind of fell off with Patty, because I felt like she really we realize now just how much Wonder Woman 2017 was influenced by Zack, because Wonder Woman 84 was its own animal completely. It was like a different creative team altogether.
It was like her love letter to Chris Pine and Linda Carter.
It was like it's like the Justice League of the Wonder Woman movies.
Yes, it definitely is.
But the difference is that she is the director of both, which is why you have all these conspiracy theories about the fact that they say that really, Zack shadow directed Wonder Woman.
I
just, and I kind of scratch my head because I say, well, Wonder Woman kind of did feel like. Feels like it fits in the Snyderverse, but Wonder Woman 84, not so much.
Definitely not so much.
And you could play Beautiful Lie all you like, but that's not going.
Yeah.
and my thing is, you're doing, because BVS is part of DCEU, because it's the theatrical cut is part of the DCEU. So if you want to evoke Beautiful Lie from the theatrical cut of DCEU, it's just a bastardization of what Zack wanted. So go ahead, I guess.
Right.
Darth Plato says, so the Flash using the Zod invasion angle is paying tribute to the Snyderverse. Yeah, I kind of took it that way.
Yeah.
But
but the execution.
Yeah.
Or
yeah, I just remember watching all the Michael Shannon interviews, how he's was totally checked out. Like at one point they asked him, and he's like, I don't even know why I was brought back.
Yeah.
I mean, if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about that movie, it's just like, oh, so you don't know why you were brought back? Well, I mean, but what does that even mean? Well, my character died in Man of Steel. I don't get it.
I don't get it. I love Michael Shannon though. I love how honest he was throughout that whole press tour. Oh man.
Yeah, he was really, really honest. He was like Jason Momoa honest before he became tap dancing Momoa.
Yeah, before he became the shell for WB. Yeah.
TJ says Netflix can do any film They want especially Cyborg, Martian Manhunter, and Atom. Just saying. Yeah, as long as it's within that SnyderVerse trilogy framework. So anything that Zack had plans to bring in, that WBD discarded, that WBD would have let him use had he continued, he can do. And they can acquire the rights to that. That's the whole point. Like, so I could see, we obviously know that Rebel Moon is going to be a massive success. And Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3, if they're made and thrown on Netflix, which they will be a massive success. So that means that, of course, it's possible for them to do more.
Definitely. They just need that engagement.
Flash is a multiversal movie. Yeah. It was a multiversal popcorn flop. That's what it was.
For real.
There were rumors that cheeks were getting clapped between Pine and Jenkins. Well, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean,
come on. I mean, it's obvious. Okay.
So obvious.
She dedicated her entire film. She threw away her entire career because she was so in love with Chris Pine.
Yes. It was obvious for sure.
It was obvious and it was awful.
Yeah. It wasn't even. And the other thing is like, she worked with him on a show. I forget I think it's I Am the Night is what it's called, based off of like a true story. And I watched it. It was good. It was really good. But like they worked together on that. So you would have thought she would have gotten her fix from that. But no. She had to bring him back for Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah. So I'm not even, I don't doubt for a second, because she's so attracted to Chris Pine and so into him. I don't doubt for a second that there were things like that going on with them at all. In fact, I would be surprised. I would be more surprised to hear if there weren't rumors of that going on, because I'm pretty sure that's exactly what was going on.
Crazy.
If WPD licenses Zack Snyder's Justice League to Netflix, they get paid. If they let Snyder finish his arc, they still get paid. And if Netflix continues the Snyderverse beyond that, WBD still gets paid. Exactly.
Yep.
And that's all that matters to them, because they are all about the money. That's what they need right now. They're broke.
Broke. Yes.
Patty
was thirsty.
Yeah, absolutely. Why else would you literally throw away your filmmaking career just to do a love letter to Chris Pine? Why would you do that?
Yeah, why? Why?
She knows she's not going to get hired for nothing like that ever again. She's going to be making indie films for the rest of her life. Maybe she could have Chris Pine in all of them.
There you go.
Yeah, he can be her leading man. He could be her Jack on the Titanic and stuff. They can have that with the Celine Dion music and everything, and they can do all their thing and their romance, and yeah, it could be great. It could be like the MILF and the plumber or something, and they can have a romance between the two of them, and she can actually act as the over aggressive, thirsty MILF going after the plumber and Chris Pine. That could actually be a thing. I don't know.
Wait, but before we move on from Patty Jenkins, when she was still like gonna make the Cleopatra movie with Gal, I'm pretty sure I heard something about him playing either, I don't know, like Caesar or Mark Antony. I don't know. But like, if that was true, I would have been like, dang. I would have laughed, to be honest.
Oh yeah, that would have made perfect sense too. Any project that she's involved in, if she can work with Chris Pine, it's going to be a reality.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe Diana Prince should have been played by Allison Mack.
Oh my God.
Ooh, now see, yeah.
Oh
I don't really have anything to say there.
No.
Necrophilia was used in Wonder Woman 84. Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, in a lot of ways. Because
Yes.
Steve Trevor was dead. If we just go take the plot at face value, Steve Trevor was dead, and Steve Trevor's soul or essence or consciousness, whatever you want to call it, was put into the body of this unsuspecting stranger that Diana met and decided to molest from the shopping mall.
Oh my God.
And that's how we got that whole thing. Diana thought she was messing around with Steve Trevor, but it was never Steve Trevor. It was just some guy at the mall that she just,
Wacky stuff.
It almost sounds like something James Gunn would write, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Poor Patty didn't get her Star Wars story. I'm sure he would have added him to the cast. Oh yeah. Oh,
definitely.
Yeah. He would have been a hotshot pilot. He would have been like the Han Solo. He would have been the Han Solo of Patty Jenkins' Star Wars movie. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Jenkins was a fan of Heaven Can Wait film in the 80s. That's why she did it. It has a similar thing in that film like Wonder Woman 84. Yeah. She just did like a copy and paste thing. How do you have a movie that allegedly takes place in the 80s with literally no
80s music? Yeah.
Nothing. It was horrible.
So bad. So bad.
Yeah. 100% he was generic. I mean, I didn't want to turn this into us reviewing Wonder Woman 84, but we got to talk about it in terms of the context of all of this, because it really did knock her down quite a few pegs, in my eyes, at least, with regards to the way that she conducts herself as a filmmaker. I mean, it was just lazy writing, bad storytelling, and nonsensical plot points that nobody understood really.
Right.
I mean, I think the man in the corner liked the movie, but I don't know.
Of course he did.
Jeff Johns' story. Yeah. Well, unfortunately for the man in the corner, he's not Chris Pine, and so she's not going to be reaching for him in that way. I think his Maxwell Lord over the WBD will I'll take his Maxwell Lord over what WBD will do in the future. Oh yeah. Well, we can talk a little bit about that. Maxwell Lord was cast for Superman Legacy.
Just another character to bloat the movie even more.
And he's going to be played by none other than the great and illustrious Sean Gunn.
You can't make this up. You literally can't. You can't make it up.
Okay, so we know Sean Gunn is in the movie. We know for a fact that James Gunn's wife is going to be in this movie. She's either going to be, I've narrowed it down to either she's Supergirl or Wonder Woman. I don't know which just yet. I think they're going to go with a darker haired model type for Wonder Woman. I've seen some stuff online, some rumors of some model that they were looking into for Wonder Woman, but if she's not Wonder Woman, she's definitely going to be Supergirl. I mean, she's got the blonde hair and everything.
Yeah.
So James Gunn will probably, I mean, it's going to be a family thing. Everybody that was in Human Z is going to be in Superman Legacy.
Yep.
So,
Oh, what a joke.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to any of it. In fact, I'm not even planning on seeing it, to tell you the truth.
Oh no, I'm definitely not either. Not at all.
All right, we can talk a little bit about Air. Thank you, Integrity, for saying this. We can talk a little bit about Air. I don't think the Air cut is inevitable, at least not right now with what James Gunn is doing. I don't think that the Air cut will happen unless, well, unless Netflix, when Netflix acquires the Snyderverse, maybe Netflix will, try to see if they can get Ayer's cut too.
I mean, I was seeing a little bit on the timeline, like Ayer was, posting about Suicide Squad being in the top 10 on Netflix. I mean,
maybe. Yeah.
But I mean, he needs to jump on the Cell bandwagon. To be, but
I would love to see Ayer. I would love to see Ayer use the Cell hashtags. That'd be cool.
I mean, it just makes sense. Instead of
or
even,
I mean, has he used? I can't remember if he's. I think he used the release the Ayer cut hashtag once or twice.
Yeah, I think he has.
But I don't see him actually succeeding under gun.
Oh no,
That's not to say that we won't ever see the Ayer cut. I just don't see it happening now under WBD. But Netflix could acquire it, of course, because the Suicide Squad, not the Suicide Squad. It's a distinction.
Yes,
is doing well on Netflix, and that's great.
Definitely, and Black Adam, I think, is in the top 10 as well.
Yeah, because Black Adam actually was, I mean, it had Henry Cavill in it. I mean, let's just
and the JSA, but
yes.
Cavill is definitely yeah.
It's like, what do you like about it? Oh, the JSA and Henry Cavill.
That's about it.
That's about it.
No offense to anyone that likes the movie. I'm just saying from my perspective. That's all.
Superman Legacy will bomb. I won't be surprised if Wonder Woman and Lobo are in it next.
Oh, I mean, oh my God. I don't want to hear anyone. I want apologies actually from people that were saying BVS was there was too many characters.
Was bloated. Yeah. BVS was bloated, but sounds like every character who was ever in DC at all is going to be featured in Superman Legacy.
But that's not bloated.
Yeah, that's not bloated at all. We can have everybody. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if James Gunn figures out a way to put Spider-Man or the Guardians of the Galaxy in Superman Legacy, because why not, right?
At this point, yeah.
I mean, he's good friends with the people over at Marvel. Why not get the crossover started early?
Yeah.
I mean,
because that'll make money.
Oh yeah, that'll make money. It'll shock everybody too. You see Spider-Man walk out in the film, and everybody's like, "How did that happen?" It happened because ZodWriter and APass tried to tell you that James Gunn was going to do a crossover, and you don't believe nobody. So what can we tell you?
Well, Zod's been saying that for years now.
Years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
but
if it happens, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. How about Rebel Moon though? All the hype around it that I've been seeing.
And there've been a couple of reviews about it.
Yes.
And surprisingly, I mean, and they've been very positive.
Surprisingly, because usually they don't give Snyder any
No, they treat Snyder like he's Michael Bay.
Yeah.
They don't really give him any credit for anything, but this is faring fairly well.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say a couple of the reviews I saw, they gave it an 8 out of 10, and this is the Netflix cut. This is the PG-13 cut,
right?
Not the director's cut we're going to get later. So yeah,
I can't wait to see both versions. But then I'm also happy I know that they're expanding the theatrical release of it to certain cities in the US. So I'm happy to see that. Although unfortunately it won't be in my city, but I'm just like happy that they're releasing it a day early too than what they were saying.
Yeah, I believe Bat Dan said that he's gonna go see it. He found where it's gonna be playing, and he's gonna go see it
That's
for sure.
awesome.
I won't be seeing it because it's not playing at a theater that's particularly near me, and since I have work to do that day, I will not be going to that theater to see it. But if they open it in a theater closer to me, I might be seeing it. But I don't know. Yeah, why not have Star-Lord in Superman Legacy? Yeah, I could totally see it. I mean, come on. That Dan says I'll try to get my Rebel Moon review at 12:20. Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's cool. Rebel Moon. There's a 4-hour RoboCop documentary. Oh, okay. I'll have to check it out.
You see, I've never really gotten into RoboCop, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, the first RoboCop film, I think the first one, is a masterpiece. After that, they all kind of fall off.
Okay.
But the first one was really, really great. But nothing after that. Once you've seen the first one, you don't really need to see anything else because they don't know what they're doing after the first one.
Good to know.
But that's my opinion. I mean, you got to see the first RoboCop. The first RoboCop is insane. Bat Dan says, yes, I will see it in Chicago on December the 19th. It's actually not that close to me, but I will do what I need to do to make it there. Okay. Well,
awesome.
Good on you, Bat Dan. I hope you enjoy seeing it the way it is meant to be seen.
Yes.
And Integrity 101 agrees with me. You have to see RoboCop 1 APass. It's a masterpiece. And not the 2014 reboot. The original RoboCop from 1987. That's the one
from the 80s. Okay.
And you want the director's cut too. You don't want the R-rated version. You want the unrated director's cut.
Gotcha. I have like such a long list of movies that I need to watch at some point. Definitely will add it to the list.
But it's a good movie, and you'll definitely like it. You'll get something from it. It does have there's just a lot of greatness in it. So I think you'll love it. Awesome. Sin Havoc says here, CCXP 23 was amazing.
Did you go Sin Havoc?
Rebel Moon was awesome. Oh my God, you saw it, Sin Havoc?
Whoa, you need to elaborate a little bit if you can.
Wow, that's cool.
That is so cool. Yeah.
RoboCop 1987 was really dope. Gory. Yep, definitely gory.
Oh. I have like a weird I don't know. Like sometimes I can handle gore, and then there's other times where I'm like,
It's gory, but it's over the top gory. Like kind of gory where it's brutal, but it's I don't know if I'd say it's comical in a sense in the way that it's gory, but it's just very over the top gory. Very over.
Is it like campy in a way? Or just
in a way, it's a little bit. There's a little bit of camp thrown in there, but it's more. It's still serious, but it's campy at the same time. In that, it's totally unbelievable. I don't want to spoil anything for you because you haven't seen it. So I would prefer. I would hope that you'll get a chance to actually watch it. And Peter Weller as RoboCop. Yeah. It's definitely worth it. It's definitely a good movie to watch. And I'm a big fan of the original movie, but that's where it ends for me though. The original movie. Beyond that, I don't care about any of the sequels. There were 2 sequels, and then there was like a TV show. There were some cartoons. But
wow.
but it's, you know, it was a whole franchise. They tried to turn it into a cartoon like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which didn't make any sense because it's so dark and totally adult oriented that I don't see how that was even. It was like making it was like when they made a cartoon out of Rambo. It didn't make any sense. But
Oh my
yeah,
God.
but yeah, yeah, Frank Miller did RoboCop 2 and RoboCop 3, and it was mad. Yeah, neither one of the sequels were worth your time. RoboCop 2 had some, I'll give them credit, they had some nice elements to them, but it wasn't good by any stretch of the imagination. The first one is really the only one you need to see, honestly. It's like Never Ending Story. You watch the first Never Ending Story,
And it goes downhill
and
after.
anything they tried to make after that, it was just all downhill.
I gotta agree. Yeah, like the never-ending story movies. Like even as a kid watching them, I always was like the first one was like the one I gravitated to the
Right.
most.
After you watch the first one, you're done.
Yeah.
Anything else was like, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know why these exist.
Right.
And there's nothing really to say about them. And that's exactly how it is with RoboCop. It's the exact same case. You got the first one, and then you're good. You don't need nothing else. And that's why they're saying that if they do make another one, there's lots of talk right now about them making another one. And what it would be is it would be a requel where they pretend like the sequels don't exist, and they would make a direct sequel to the original, which is what I think they should do if they're going to try to continue the franchise. Because they did a video game that was based off of the original, which is really well done and a lot of fun. I enjoyed playing it, but like I said, for as far as movies go, yeah, there's only one movie. The original movie's all that matters. RoboCop 1987 is amazing, though. I'll take that over The Dark Knight all day. And I saw Dark Knight 8 or 9 times in the theater. Okay, well, there you go.
Wow.
Yeah, the original movie is it. Absolutely. Who's watched the Lion King trilogy? Okay, now we're veering into all sorts of different territories. I've only seen the Lion King. I have not seen any other Lion King movies.
I have seen the second one and obviously the first one, but I haven't seen the third one. I didn't even know there was a third one, actually.
It was like Aladdin. I watched. I love the first Aladdin, but then the second one, I watched. I did see the second one, and
me too.
I think they made another one, but I never watched another one because I didn't think it was possible for them to make an Aladdin sequel without Robin Williams. But somehow it exists. So
Wow. And the fact that they have like hours of material that he didn't even make the first movie. They could have put it in like the other ones if they really wanted to. But
yeah, I agree. And I mean, and the same could be said about Little Mermaid. Okay, I love the original Little Mermaid. I think it's great, but I have not seen any of the sequels, and I have no desire to see any of the sequels. And I'm completely fine with that. I could go through the rest of my life just not.
Yeah, any of those sequels for like those Disney movies, I don't know. They didn't really need to do it, but they did it anyway.
Yeah, Bat I know that they brought Robin Williams back somehow for Aladdin 3, I know, but I still didn't see it. I watched the first one and I saw the second one, and after the second one I was done. I'm like, no, we're good.
We're good.
There will probably be some gore in the movie we watch tomorrow. That's right. Tomorrow night, Bat Dan and I are doing a watch party on his channel for a movie that is a horror movie based on The Grinch Who Stole Christmas.
God.
It is called The Mean Ones, in which the Grinch character is a murdering version of the Grinch. So that should be interesting. Neither one of us have seen it, and so we'll be watch partying it for the first time, seeing it for the first time. The meme one, yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't like Return of Jafar either, but
No.
I'm a purist when it comes to these Disney movies. I feel like there's really no good Disney sequels.
There isn't.
They just shouldn't have bothered. I don't know why. Like the Wizard of Oz sequel that they did. They did this sequel, this really dark and twisted sequel, The Wizard of Oz, Return to Oz.
Why?
And remember,
Why?
and they had like Dorothy in a mental institution, and oh my god, it was weird.
That sounds terrifying. I don't see the need to do that.
Did you see it?
No.
It came out in the mid 80s. I think it's on Disney. I think it's on Disney Plus now. It's called Return to Oz, and it's really dark and twisted. It's really crazy.
What? See,
it's
okay.
really crazy.
That kind of makes me mad because I mean, when I was a kid, that was like my favorite movie ever. So for them to do that and make it twisted, no thanks. No, thank you.
Twisted and evil. Dorothy was crazy. She was getting like electroshock treatments and stuff. It was really bad. Like, oh my god. I don't know. And it was released when it was released. It came out. It was like a PG rated movie, but that movie should have been R because it was dark as heck. Like, it was not the kind of movie that you would think would be a sequel to Wizard of Oz, but there it is. I mean,
wow. I'm like, my mind's blown by that. I had no idea that was the thing.
It would be like if they got got John Carpenter to do his take on Wizard of Oz. That's what it was like. And it was crazy. I'm like, or more like maybe even like Wes Craven, because it was crazy. But yeah, the gun who stole DC. There you go. Well, there's a Christmas movie for you. Have you seen that? Has anybody seen that little Batman Christmas animated movie that's out now? The one that they put out where it's like Home Alone. Robin is.
I haven't seen it yet. Not yet.
It's the Snyder cut. Okay. Yeah, kind of. I mean, it really was like they turn it on its ear. It's one of those movies that you just, I don't know. Haven't seen the little Batman on Amazon. Yeah, it's. I think it's out. I think it's out now or gonna be coming out. I don't know.
Have you seen? Oh, you haven't seen it?
I haven't seen it yet.
No, you haven't.
No, that's why
Gotcha.
I mentioned it. I was curious, but I don't know. Is there any other topics with regards to this that we missed? Because now we're all over the place talking about RoboCop and Wizard of Oz and all this stuff.
Well, I mean, I like having these little tangents.
Yes,
but I don't know. I think we might have I swear this happens all the time. You and I.
And we went over it. We went over it before the show too, and we thought we were cool. What did James Gunn lie about? He lied about something.
I think it had to do with the fact that there wasn't going to be any actors that have multiple roles in the DCU, which is already a lie.
And didn't he say that all the video games that come out are supposed to be connected to the DCU, and now he's saying that's not the case. That movies that video games that come out don't have to be tied in with the DCU.
Yeah. The backpedaling and the changing of minds. Wow. Yeah. Because that was the initial plan, was it not? They were going to incorporate games, animation, live action, have it all connect. And now they're saying that that's not the case.
Well, we can confirm one thing. We can confirm another casting that was confirmed, and I'm surprised that we did miss this part, but we can confirm that James Gunn is casting Kurt Russell as Jor-El in Superman Legacy.
Oh, so that's official?
Yeah.
Wow. This movie is going to be so uninspired and I can't. Wow. Wow.
Might as well just make it, it's just going to be a Superman 1978 rehash. We saw that he's doing casting for Miss Tessmacher.
Of course he is.
So now his wife could play that role. I mean,
this movie is, I'm not seeing it.
More and more maybe Gunn should get rid of Cavill Sweat and just cast himself as Superman. I think that's what he needs to do.
Well, he did compare himself to Superman, so might as well.
Yeah, I think it's time to. I think it's time to, cast James Gunn. And, James Gunn needs to be honest with us and stop being 50-50 and cast himself in the lead role. I mean, because that's what he really wants to do. He can play the part. Come on, James. We know you got it in you. Now, I have to be honest. Personally, if James Gunn, if it were revealed tomorrow that he was going to cast himself to play Superman, I'll be there day one to watch that movie. If he really wants to get us into the theater, cast yourself as Superman. I will be all over that. That I want to see.
Wow.
Because that would be worth it, just so I can sit there and laugh at you for 2.5 hours.
For real. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. Because
wacky times.
I think we need to remind people about what James Gunn is doing. So let's remind them.
Listen, I received quite a few complaints about these sad, poor, lowly YouTubers, APass and ZodWriter. A couple of my most coveted directors, James Gunn and Greta Gerwig, came to me frustrated about being slandered and wrongfully disrespected. Look, I will not tolerate this kind of bullying and harassment being leveled against my hard-working talent pool. James Gunn is on a holy mission from God Almighty with plans he has in store for our DC properties. And Greta, well, she turned Barbie into a billion-dollar blockbuster and has nearly single-handedly made Warner Brothers Discovery profitable again. The two minimum wage YouTubers causing all this trouble had better rethink their actions and pump the brakes, or there will be dire consequences. That's not a threat. It's a recitement of simple facts. So hopefully the message is received loud and clear. Otherwise, I don't get it.
Yeah, the message was received. Definitely.
Wow.
I don't get it.
I don't either. I really don't.
Charles Austin says, I'd pay $50 a ticket to see Gunn as the Man of Steel. I honestly, I just want to see him with his underwear on the outside. I think that's perfect for him. And I
feel like he does that in real life.
Yeah, exactly. And when he runs around at all his parties, he's he's just very, 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 very inappropriate.
Yes.
Oh goodness, Gunn's on a mission from God or some God.
Yeah, I would like to know which God they're referring to.
50-50. A holy mission from the sex god. I don't know. I don't know what God he's talking about, but because he seems to be on a different path altogether from anything resembling godliness, driving around in his creeper bus.
I know.
Scouting for Superman Legacy. Integrity 101 says, I love Superman 78 more than anyone, and I have no interest in seeing someone try to copy that film 50 years after Donner already did it. Yeah. But that's not going to
Right.
stop that's not going to stop James Gunn. That's just not going to stop him.
He has to prove us all wrong.
Only the Blues Brothers can go on a mission from God. Well, apparently Zaslav believes that James Gunn is an exception.
Yeah, for some God-forsaken reason.
Yeah, we could say God forsaken, but I don't think it's.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it's just crazy to me. It's gonna be interesting to see, where things go. I mean, I
Oh, for
cannot
sure.
wait until Superman Legacy is released and watching it flop. It's gonna be so much fun.
Oh yeah.
Flop after flop after flop.
After flop. Oh man.
Nobody cares about Superman Legacy. There's nobody talking about it more than you and I, APass. We're the only
I
one.
know.
We're talking about it because we know that it's going to fail. We're actually giving it more hype than the people who are excited about it.
Right?
But it's not that kind of
Flop
hype.
after.
It's not that kind of hype, is it?
It really is. It's not the positive hype, that's for sure.
God wants no part of
No
Gunn's
part.
DCU. No, I don't think he does. I think I would be surprised if he didn't bring Joss Whedon in to do a DCU project in the future.
He would bring him in to do Wonder Woman.
Oh, and then you could have James Gunn's, and then of course you'll have James Gunn's brother in there cast as Maxwell Lord. They'll basically just remake Wonder Woman 1984, but make it a whole lot creepier.
Oh yeah. Way more creepier, yeah.
I hear more discussion about BVS than Superman Legacy. That's actually true.
Facts.
People are still
Facts.
talking about BVS all these years later because BVS was a game changer.
Oh yeah. I remember like seeing that in theaters and being like blown away, even with like, the theatrical cut and everything.
Yeah,
I was
me
like,
too.
this is amazing what I'm seeing right now.
There's
And
a
then
reason I've seen it in theaters 8 times because it was mind-blowing to me.
yeah. Yeah, like I mean, and then of course, I saw BVS with some friends and they were not on they were more Marvel kind of people. So they of course were like ripping it apart. And I was literally like, you guys realize do you guys realize the movies that you like? And like you're like, you know what I mean? Like acting like there's some superior way of making a superhero movie.
Yeah, I try not to have very many Marvel friends. It gives me a headache.
It really does.
I mean, there's
It
a
really
few, Bat Dan and Socks, but Socks is more of a Marvel guy. But most Marvel people that I know, it's hard to be friends with them because they're delusional in a lot of ways. It's really
It's honestly,
frustrating.
it's like there needs to be a study done on I need to understand like how these people see Marvel as cinema when it really isn't cinema. Like I want to know like the thought process if there is one.
My thing is that Martin Scorsese is on our side, and that's all that we really need to know.
That's true. That's true.
And that's really
That's so
pretty
true.
much the way I look at it. I'm just like, when it comes to that debate, I just defer to Martin Scorsese and don't say anything else.
That's true.
And after watching, the Marvels to talk about it with Batman and Socks, I realized that Marvel has nothing left to offer either. Marvel is scraping the bottom of the barrel just like DC is at this point, which is why Rebel Moon is going to be such an explosive. It's going to literally obliterate everything.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I can't wait till that comes out.
Darth Plato says, I'm looking more forward to this show talking about Superman Legacy than the movie. Yeah, I actually am too. I'm actually looking forward to our Superman Legacy discussion.
But I'm not seeing it.
I'm not
At
seeing
least-
it in theaters, at least. So, I mean, I may see it, but I'm not going to see it in theaters. I'm not going to pay to see it. I'm going to be like all the James Gunn fans out there that don't pay to see James Gunn's movies, but then we'll fight with everybody online that doesn't like James Gunn.
Right.
I'll take the Schumacher cut of Batman Forever over Superman Legacy. Oh, absolutely.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Let's see. I'd like both Marvel and DC, but find something more special about DC. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's great. It's great stuff. But DC is not in a good place right now. But it will be soon because it's soon going to be sold. So either
Right.
Netflix will pick up the Snyderverse and make us happy, and then Warner Brothers Discovery will get sold and we'll be even more happy because it'll most likely end up going to Universal.
Right.
Integrity 101, I have not seen Godzilla -1.
I haven't either, actually. I
Someday,
haven't either.
someday when it comes out on video, I'm gonna be all over that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in the meantime, I don't know what to tell you. I have not seen it. Did you see it, Integrity? I mean, because I want to, Godzilla. I mean,
Yeah, I honestly haven't seen a I think I saw what was the Godzilla movie with the girl from Stranger Things. That was the last one I saw.
oh, okay. No,
That was the last one.
I think the last one I watched was did I watch Godzilla versus Kong? I don't remember. I don't remember if I saw that one. I don't remember.
Yeah,
I do remember a Japanese one that came out a couple of years back called Shin Godzilla that I watched, which was pretty cool. Most of it took place in a corporate office building with these corporate executives trying to figure out what the heck was going on with Godzilla. It's pretty interesting.
That sounds interesting.
Spider-Man is my favorite superhero. I love the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies over Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland.
I couldn't agree more with the Tobey Maguire movies love those movies better.
Absolutely. Yes. You see? Definitely good. Back when Marvel was cool.
Right. Right? Yeah.
Integrity says, going to see it next week. Looks great. Reviews are fantastic. It's an origin, I believe, essentially a remake or modern telling of Godzilla 1954. Yeah, it sounds good. I've heard some good things about it, but I haven't seen it either. And there's no bootlegs of it online, so you can't even pirate it. So not that we're endorsing piracy or anything, but the fact of the matter is it's not, there's nothing. And so so I don't know. I'll wait for it to come out on video. Last one I saw was 2014. I didn't like the 2014 one. I thought the 2014, I forgot that movie existed until you said that.
I remember seeing that, but I don't remember how I felt about it after the fact.
Delusional cinematic universe. Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
I did see Godzilla versus Space Godzilla on Pluto TV. Needed a VPN though. Oh, that's cool. And Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire is still the best Spider-Man movie and my favorite. Okay, cool. Cool. Well, that's great. I'm trying to think, APass, did we have anything else that we were gonna go over?
I don't believe. Well, I think we did talk about the things that we were discussing before the show. Unless we want to like talk about what the next I don't get it's gonna be.
Oh my God. You want to give everybody a clue as to what our next I don't get it's going to be?
It has to do with a movie that we all are looking forward to seeing in the next couple weeks.
That is correct. And it's going to be a big stream. And it's going to be the first I don't get it open panel live stream.
Yes, indeed.
It's going to be huge. In fact,
yeah,
I think trying to see if I've got something here from that. We've got some I don't get it something here to show people.
Mm-hmm.
If I can find it. I just went across the flop after flop. But this movie definitely won't be a flop.
Oh, no.
But I don't know where they are.
Well,
I was trying to find the thing you made, and now I don't know what I did with it.
We could post it, or yeah, we could post it if we can't find it right
I'm gonna post it after. I'm gonna post it for sure after this show, because we're gonna try to decide on a date and and have that out as soon as possible, because it's but there is another thing too that we did forget to talk about, so I'll bring that up in a moment. There's always something.
Oh,
but
there is always something, I swear. Yeah.
But we are planning to do a Rebel Moon live stream, and it's going to be an open panel live stream. So we'll be bringing other people on with us to talk about Rebel Moon. So that those of you in the chat that are interested in joining us live on the panel to talk about Rebel Moon after you've seen it, can be looking forward to that. That's going to be our next stream.
Yep.
But I think the last topic that we have to talk about before I forget, there is one other topic, and oh God, do you remember that topic, APass? I just forgot what it was again.
Honestly, I didn't know. So I was like happy that you remembered.
It's the topic where
it's so funny.
Oh my God. We said, it was something where we said we were going to I think we even talked about it before the show that we would bring it up.
We did. Oh God.
It was the not Rebel Moon. We just talked about Rebel Moon, that we're gonna bring out Rebel Moon. We're gonna do that. Okay, but it was something else now. There was one other topic, guys. one small topic. It was a small topic. It's not a big topic, but it's connected to everything we were talking about. And I know that as soon as we end the show,
We'll remember.
We'll remember what it was, and we'll be kicking ourselves for not talking about it. That's why I'm trying to remember it.
Right.
No, not WBD playing hardball with ZSJL, even though I know that that's what they're doing, but no, that's not what we were going to talk.
No, yeah, that was
That's
it
something
was
has something to do with all of this, but I can't remember exactly now. Gonna have to start writing this stuff down.
I know. We really
Start making notes and writing them down, and then we'll go over them like bullet points before we do every show, because I want to make sure that we don't forget.
we don't miss anything.
Because I already know now that this is what's going to happen. As soon as we end the show,
We'll remember it.
We are going to remember exactly what it is. Yes, we're going to do one of these days. We're going to do that Integrity 101 appreciation stream.
Oh, definitely.
For sure. Definitely integrity. But I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think what it was. My God, it's something that it has something to do with, I don't know. Is it a Snyder thing? It has something to do with, oh man, I don't know what happened. I cannot remember.
I don't either.
Right now. Oh, this is terrible. Oh,
sorry, guys. Yeah, we we don't remember.
But we will remember. We will remember as soon as the show's over. I can promise you that.
It literally happens a lot, actually.
Yeah, after the show, we're like, oh. No, not nothing else about pause not stopped. I addressed pause not stopped earlier. This is in regards to something with Zach, but I thought something with Zach, but hold on, maybe I might have a thing. Let's
Okay.
See. Okay. Here's this thing here. Let's pull this up for a second. This wasn't the topic, but this was something else we were gonna mention. So we'll just mention this. We'll just mention this right now. In the way that Zack Snyder and James Gunn are compared. Tesla versus
yeah.
Tesla.
Yes.
I don't care that they stole my idea. I care that they don't have any of their own. And Edison is, everyone steals in commerce and industry. I have stole a lot myself, but at least I know how to steal. So it's
literally.
So it's sort of, it was a comparison based on a tweet comparing Zack Snyder to James Gunn.
Very it's a very apt comparison. Oh no, Gunn. Yeah. Made us forget. Mr. J.
Mr. J, what's up, man? Sean Gunn was just oh yeah, we talked about
a Superman ship in Legacy.
Yeah. we just talked about, we just got done talking about Sean Gunn as well. I'm trying to think though. There was something else. There totally was, and now I know I might even have a thumbnail here with regards to it, like some sort of a. God, it really bugs me that we're not that I don't
remembering.
That I don't know.
We definitely need to get a note. I'm gonna next time.
I'm gonna put everything on a note. I'm gonna put everything in a notepad when we go over it, so that we don't forget. Because I hate when this happens. See, this is how you can tell we're real people and we're not bots. We're not freaking AI or anything like that. We're real people because we totally forget stuff.
Right, yeah.
Thank you, Integrity. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank
Um,
you.
but I don't. Let me see. Let's see. See just a thing here. Oh, I remember what it was. Wait a minute. It
What?
just dawned on me right now. Here we go. Thank you for the few of you that have decided to stick with us for the rest of the show, because now I remember what the last topic is.
I did write a book. It's like I've been in a dream where I was somehow really invested in the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. But what you said broke me out of it. Really? Yeah. You're back. She's back.
There it is.
There it is, the final topic of the night for this week's I Don't Get It. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Barbie Snyder cut joke did come up again, and Zack Snyder finally commented on it.
Yes, he did.
And he didn't know what to make of it. He just was like, what did we do? It's like, wow, this is something that is, like they made such an impact with Zack Snyder's Justice League that it's in a Barbie movie. How does that happen?
Right. How?
Something along those lines. How does it happen? And somebody tried to ask Zack about the Snyder cut, and Zack basically said that the movie has no reason to exist, shouldn't exist, with the way things in the industry work. But the part about the Barbie joke, like Warner Brothers actually warned Zack Snyder about the Barbie joke before the movie came out.
Which is surprising in a way that they were courteous enough, I guess. I don't know.
Well, Zack still has, but that's because Zack still has friends in the industry.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I would assume that we're talking about Abdi and DeLuca, who are really close to Zack.
Yeah, that's true.
So that would make sense that they have people that, or they themselves maybe reached out to Zack and said, hey, there's this Toby Emmerich joke about your movie, and we just want to let you guys know about that. So
yeah,
I mean, we'll always keep that clip. We'll always keep that clip from when it was in theaters with that audience reaction. all those Marvel, fanboys laughing, thinking it was funny. And yeah, so that's why I don't even want because I know it's available on video now and all that, and I could get a better copy of that clip, but I don't need a better copy of that clip. That clip right there, the way it is, encapsulates it for us perfectly. We don't need anything else.
Yeah, agreed.
That's perfect. Let's see.
Thank you, guys.
Great stream, even if things get off topic. Yeah, you never know what you're going to get with I Don't Get It. We will go all over the place. We will talk about anything and everything. But this is what we do, and this is why we come to you so infrequently. There's people that I had a bunch of people unsubscribe from this channel. There was about 5 or 6 unsubscriptions that I got notified of last week, people unsubscribing. And I'm like, well, I know we don't do a lot of content, but we do a good show when we do go live. So
right. Yeah.
That's all we can promise. We can promise you that we'll do a good stream, but we just don't know how frequent it'll be because we got to work around each other's schedules in order to make this happen. So we can't go live, every week like some people do, but we try to get it out as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So was there anything else, APass, that you wanted to add to the final topic, or are we?
No, I don't think so, at least, unless whenever we go off air, I'll remember something, but
Thank you guys for, tuning in as always, and can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, thank you again for tuning in. Thank you for the super chats, and we will leave you with our I Don't Get It theme song as usual. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Why is James Gunn such a liar? Why does DC constantly fail and disappoint? How do APass and ZodWriter reconcile all the garbage in this joint? I don't get it, no matter how I try. I don't get it, the state of DC makes me want to cry. Won't WB bring back the SnyderVerse? It seems like being a DC fan is nothing but a curse. The guy in charge is wacky and the studio sure is tech.